Happy to see you all. And today's topic is, what do you expect in a past life regression therapy? Well, as I have been talking about past life regression from the ultimate basic of it, the first thing that you expect is accessing your past. Plain, simple understanding. What about the past? The past that has an influence on your present. And that past which is not letting you be fully present and have the freedom to all that you truly would want to have in your life, which means something that comes in your way of manifesting what you truly desire in any area of the life. That's plain, simple, basic of what we are expecting in a past life regression is basically going to the source of the blocks that you experience. And when I talk of the blocks are in the form of issues. And the issues are something that you experience over a period of time. So when we talk of past life regression, we are likely to expect solution and freedom from issues which are long-standing, which are chronic in nature, which are repetitive. They are in the form of patterns in any and every area of your life. So this is a very broad summary of what would you expect in a past life session. To heal yourself of long-standing, chronic, repetitive patterns in personal space, which means it could be in your own emotional space or mental issues that you may be experiencing it, whether individually or in a relationship that keeps you away from having a healthy relationship with your own self or even with the others. It could be even in the area of your work, which means you may have blocks in your situations at work, a block in a financial reality, which means you may have difficulty in attaining abundance. There would be fear of loss, or there would be fear of failure, the most common thing. And the next common thing, the fear of success. Can you believe that? So these are some of the issues. I'm going to enumerate all of them before I kind of give you a broad summary of it. So let me go back further to what was I talking about. When it comes to past life regression, we are looking at the source of the issue coming from the past and freeing of all the pain that it has caused in personal area, work area, professional area, and even in the area of your body. Because wherever there is mind, the mind has a tendency to hold on to the past experience. And wherever the past experience have not been fully resolved from its source, it keeps lingering in the present. So if I have to start listing down what are the situations that you can address in your past life regression therapy sessions, let's start first with the personal area. The personal, as I told you, it could be emotions, which would be like rejection, feeling unloved, abandonment, betrayal. There could be anger issues. There could be issues related to uncontrollable behavior of clinginess, of feeling unworthy. It could be even about feeling very low about oneself, feeling less about oneself. There could be areas where you would be feeling extremely afraid of entering into an intimate relationship. And then there could be also a whole list of issues where you feel there could be fear of a specific situation. Many of you would have fear of, a certain, fear of falling down from a height, fear of flying. There could be fear of certain specific places, of fear of entering into a relationship, of fear of animals, fear of water, fear of drowning. So the whole set of fears and phobias may have its origin from the past life. There could be also source of this fear coming from the present, but many a times the phobias are known to coming from the past lives, especially those which could not be explained, which means there is no history of you being affected by it in the current life. So when we come back to the fears and the phobias, those fears and phobias which does not have any base, any logical explanation of why you're suffering from it, are most likely coming from the past. Then there could be anxieties of different kind. Anxiety for appearing or meeting for a new place, or going to meet a new person. It could be even about anxiety of entering into a relationship, anxiety of conducting something bigger or performance. A whole lot of anxiety which presents many a times in the form of panic attacks could be also having its source from the past. So this has covered more or less the anxiety, the fear, the relationship issues, the abandonment, the sense of loss, or maybe a lot of people experience unexplainable sadness. They just couldn't make any sense out of it. So many of these emotional issues where you can't make any sense of it. Why are you feeling it? Why is this sense of anger that I keep feeling despite everything is okay in my life? A lot of people have uncontrollable, unexplainable rage. Or there are situations that you feel not good enough. So many of these emotions and the spectrum of emotions that you experience, which are not giving you a sense of peace, may have its origin from the past lives. There are times you may feel that you are in a relationship and you feel stuck, or there are one-sided relationship patterns. There could be an obsessive relationship that that you can't get out of it. Now, these are the kind of relationships which would fall in the realm of karmic relationships, which has again its origin coming from the past. Right? So this is the area that you could expect to be dealt with in a past life when it comes to your personal space. When it comes to your workspace or professional space, there are issues that you come across with people in authority. There are issues that you come across facing people in public. There could be issues related to money, where all the hard work that you do, you reach to the peak of the success and something happens and you lose the money, or you probably lose the position. And there are patterns of these things or cycles of such situations in your life. A lot of people talk of Sade Sati. Have you heard about that? Now, this is like periods of wrong things or not very nice things happening in your life, which in the astrological charts are called as Sade Sati, which means this is going to be an unfortunate period of your life. And people don't know what to do about it. And these are the times you can sit in your own space and introspect to find out the patterns that you experience in Sade Sati and explore through past life regression where it could have been started in your across time and space stories, which is the past life. And many a times you also have issues at the level of body where you feel there are issues where again you may have aches and pains or pains in some specific spots, specific parts of the body, which if you go and meet the doctor says there is nothing wrong with it. Maybe it is psychogenic. And this falls in the realm of psychosomatic issues. So a whole lot of pains which do not have any tangible proof in your investigations are likely to be falling in the realm of psychogenic or psychosomatic pains. And it will be surprising to see that this would have come from accidents in your past or some traumatic situations in your past. A lot of times you have a bad relationship with the body. What do I mean by that? A bad relationship with the body is where, a part of your body is like a weak spot and you keep falling or keep hurting that part. Have you come across that? Somebody would say, I always have a weak knee, or I have a weak ankle, or I have a weak stomach. No matter what you do for, as many investigations and as many medical interventions and healing modalities you go, nothing shows result. And these are most likely going to be coming from your past lives, of some situations that you may have incurred in the past, where the trauma has not just been emotional, but even at the physical level, that those trauma get stored in the cellular memory of that body, which is now even carried forward here. And it gives rise to a whole spectrum of psychosomatic disorders. For example, the migraine, the chronic backaches. There are issues like irritable bowel syndrome. There are so many issues where I said there's a weak spot in the body. There could be issues where you have asthma, one of the commonest medical conditions, which is known to have its source from the past life, where someone had died of drowning or suffocation, right? So anything to do with suffocation, choking feeling, quite likely, I wouldn't say all the time, but quite likely to come from the past life. There could be issues where you would have a tight neck, spasms in your certain parts of the body. That could be also related to some situations where you would have been traumatized in the neck or the back area. Now, these are some of the examples that I have. It's very surprising to see even very odd situations of body which have been fallen in the realm of the past life. If I have to just share something like a condition like ulcerative colitis, which a doctor would never ever tell you that it has something to do with, psychological, and they will start treating you with all kinds of medical interventions. But many a times, many of the medical conditions, when the doctors call that as idiopathic, which means there is no cause for it. For example, psoriasis, ulcerative colitis could be one of them. There could be a lot of congenital diseases, which has its origin coming from the past life. So there are a lot of medical situations which are having its origin from the past, which may not be explained logically, and they keep coming and relapsing in this situation, in this life, triggered by some emotions. There are a lot of surgeries which fail, or surgeries which are generally very simple in nature, but they end up having complications. And these are classically coming from past life, like dental surgeries, or maybe any surgery to do with your even any part of the body, are likely to be something not having any complications, but they end up having lingering pains following the surgery, and the doctor does not understand why it is happening. And then finally, if you have seen, these may fall in the realm of psychogenic. They try to do some cognitive therapy, again that fails, and it has its source coming from the past. I have few of these cases, and I'll share with you in the coming weeks, one after the another, some interesting cases that I have on these lines. So these are briefly, this is what we cover under a past life regression therapy. If I have to summarize it again, a past life regression therapy, you can expect anything and everything that in your present life you feel has no logic. There is no defined cause for it. And yet it keeps repeating. And despite all the interventions that you do at the cognitive level and giving a logical resolution to it, it just doesn't find any resolution, is where the source is coming from the past life. What would you expect in a past life regression with these kind of situations? You would expect some trauma, emotional or mental, or maybe physical trauma, which apparently has not been resolved in that life till the death. Because what gets carried forward from that life to this life is because somewhere around the time of the death of that life, the end of that life, it didn't end in peace. Many of the times when people, or most of us have this habit of saying rest in peace when you hear of somebody's death. Now that means we are praying for that soul to really go forward in peace. But when there's peace, which is not happening, and they are carrying the trauma could be in the relationship area, just because You may have made oaths, vows, and promises, or maybe there would be a betrayal story, or maybe there would be something which would be like a unfinished business with any of your close relatives from the past, and that's not been ended in peace. There was something that you felt that as a soul wanting to come back and complete, and the life just ended abruptly, or maybe because of some unnatural reasons. These are very typical situations from the past that get carried forward in the present and present in the form of a relationship. There could be even a sense of loss, or there could be something that you may have experienced by way of a humiliation or an insult, or something very traumatic with a very close relationship that makes you feel that all close relationships end up like this. So there is a whole Pandora's box that opens up when you go into a past life. But the idea is, once you know what is the specific situation that you're struggling with in the present life, and you trace it back with the help of a therapist, can you go to that specific trauma, which is actually giving you not just the freedom from the pain of that issue, but even giving you an understanding. So what you expect in a past life regression therapy session is freedom from the pain, which cannot be explained. Physical, emotional, mental, social, or even a financial pain, which has not been resolved from that time and space, and it's carrying forward in your tissue, in your issues, in your mind, even now in this present life. And with that clearing of the pain, or rather, there are a lot of healing modalities that can address and give you a relief of the pain. What past life regression gives you is understanding of why that pain happened. So once the mind understands why that happened, which was illogical, which is long standing, which you can't have any control on, and the moment you understand, the conscious mind, which wants to understand, gets such clarity and peace that it could now let go of the pain from the past. Of course, that is done with the help of an intervention. So this is, in short, working with past life regression will open up to freedom from pain and clarity and understanding of why it happened. Okay. With this, I would like to bring an end to this discussion. I would be happy to receive any questions that you would want to clarify on this topic, or if any experience that you feel has been unclear when you went through your own experience. So can we open the chat?
I have.
Yes.
So let's say I have some physical pain that has manifested from my previous life. Will it come in any body part, or does a specific, let's say, tooth pain have to do with a specific experience?
Yes. So by and large, Komal, it will come in the same spot.
Okay.
The reason, as I told you, because whatever would have been the source of that pain has resolved in that body part and the form of a cellular memory. So even if the body dies, right, the body has been cremated, the energy body holds the blueprint of that trauma, and that gets copied and carried forward in the form of the cellular memory of that present life. And so it remains at the same spot.
Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions? Yes,
Yeah, you're saying that, clarity is, past life regression gives clarity and understanding why the certain things happen.
yes.
That does that mean that, once you see what's the cause, it will heal by itself, or you need further investigation, a further healing with other modalities?
So by and large, Pala, it definitely gets healed, more or less, unless there are certain other aspects to it. So now, depending upon what is the issue, which means, let's say if there is an issue with respect to ulcerative colitis. Let me talk about that because the body issue. It is something there's a loose motions, there's blood, the person not being able to eat. So by and large, when you do this therapy, you will get an understanding of why that particular part is affected. Now, once that comes, the psychological part gets taken care of. But there are times you need to work with a little bit of nutrition. There are times you need to work with a little bit of, treating it at the medical level as well. So the past life regression therapy is not a replacing any kind of medical intervention. It is a complement to the medical intervention. It can be considered as a complementary therapy. Well, many a times you do see a change happening by a sudden stopping and cessation of the pain. But if there are very chronic, very stubborn conditions, then you need to have certain other interventions, especially medical intervention, or maybe you may need some physiotherapy where there are joint issues. If there's a structural damage, then you need to have some support where you have to wear a kneecap, so that it supports when you're walking. So depending upon that, or you need to do affirmation work so that you now can make your recovery more faster. Yeah. So past life regression may not be standalone in some cases, and in some cases it is standalone as well. But there are a wide spectrum of conditions, and hence I cannot give you one answer for it because it varies from situation to situation. It will also vary from person to person because past life regression is a very subjective experience. It's about your personal experience of your perception of what has happened across time and space and how you perceive it and how it impacted you and what you carried forward. Once you understand that, what happens is at least why it is happening with me. A lot of people say, why this is happening me? Why me syndrome? That has an answer from many of the times in the past life regression, or even sometimes in early childhood cases. So at least that part of the mind is eased. And once that part of the mind is eased, then you can take care of the body by, taking care of diet or following a certain regimen, or maybe, taking some physiotherapy or doing some affirmation work as well. Does that answer your question, Pala?
Yes, brilliant. And one more further to that is I have a belief that, certain problems, even karma, it is for our soul learning.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So when the time is right, then only you are able to see all this. Am I right to think that way?
Yes. To some extent, yes.
Yeah,
I
okay.
also believe that people come when they are ready for it and the time is ready.
Okay, yeah.
It's also the other way around. So
That's
I
right.
would generally refrain from telling somebody that your time has not come.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I know that when the person decides to come for a therapy, there's already a subconscious urge, something that makes them feel, that they have to do something about it. And then maybe from that urge, which is very unconscious, to making a decision to go and visit a therapist is the time span. And
Yes.
the moment that is taken care of, that time span, or it could be just 2 days, it could be maybe 200 days, it could be 2 years as well, for its own reason, for some things. And then when that happens, that really happens.
Yes, great, great. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe someday we'll discuss this because this is a topic which will open up a lot of other concepts, and hence I kind of kept it as simple as possible, right? But yes, we'll discuss sometime. We'll keep such a topic like this, and I would really welcome each one of you can really, write down what you would like to know about past life. Though I have some more topics where I will also take up what you can't expect, and maybe I'll share some of my case histories one by one, or because it's a very vast topic. So I'll be happy if every one of you can just take time today immediately after this talk, and please send your feedback to the sessions. I would want you to also go back to all those previous sessions and let me know about how you have felt about it, and write down your questions about it. because I love to answer questions, because that would give me that I am addressing to what you really want, rather than me, making my own mind, oh, they want this, which would go a little like, okay, this is what, and for me, maybe it may not be important, or for maybe it will be very important because I may be looking from a point of a researcher or as a doctor. So may I request everybody today who is visiting this platform today and attending this session with me, I'm very, very grateful that you all have, kind of been listening to it. And my personal request, if you would have liked it, and even if you would have not liked it, feel free to write it down on this platform and give me a very honest feedback. And do write down what else would you want to know about it. And if you have friends, please forward them these recordings if you can. Share it with them and ask them to write it down, as freely as they would like to. I would really, really welcome everyone here and their friends and colleagues to watch this, because this whole session, as I understand, in collaboration with Joining Hands, the purpose is awareness. And truly speaking, I'm only sitting here for spreading awareness, or rather, let me say, not even awareness. I just want to bring some clarity to this subject. So if I have to really, really honestly talk about why am I here, and every Tuesday I'm here with you all, and I wish we have more and more people joining, is simply because, if there is something which is emerging as a science, or rather, even it's a paradigm, it's yet to reach to the level of science, but a lot of researchers are working on this. But there's definitely some truth to this work. And there are a lot of people who have been writing about it. And in my personal practice, I see a huge shift happening in different conditions, which I would want to share with all of you. But besides me sharing, I would want you all to share. So maybe one of the times we could have something like having a platform, an open platform for just question answers. What do you feel, Komal? Because then I will be, addressing with what you want to know about it. And if I would have missed out in the previous 4 sessions, I'll be so happy to give it to you in my own ways, because that's what I think I'm here for. Yeah. So with this, I end this topic. Okay. So Pala has written a topic on cord cutting. So Pala, I really appreciate your immediate response to what I asked for. Cord cutting is not very classically a past life regression therapy. It's a technique. But what I can do, Pala, is maybe I can talk about past life regression and relationships. How about that? Right? Cord cutting is an intervention that we do to bring some peace in a very toxic relationship. If I just answer in one sentence, right? Now, there are toxic relationships which are coming from this lifetime. They could be also coming from the past lives. So since I'm on a platform here, invited by Joining Hands to talk on past life, though I also do other present life work, a lot of it, I would honor their request of past life regression, and I'll take the topic in that context, and I'll tell you what we can do about it, right? And I will look forward to see you on that call. So I'll put it on the platform here. When is that talk going to be? And yeah, any more questions? How did you find today's topic? Was it simplified? Was it clear? Was it unclear? What do you want to know more?
I found it very informative.
Okay, I cannot see you. Can I have, who's that? Can you let me know your name, please?
Komal here.
Okay, yeah, Komal. Okay, that's Komal. Hi.
Yeah.
Okay, and Pala says it's simple and very clear. What about others? Got few answers. So Darshana wants more answers. I guess that. Okay, thank you, Shiraz. It's very good. Anything that you felt unclear, I'm willing to even sit for more and just address it. I like addressing questions rather than a one-sided interaction. Okay, so I don't get more, but I will, okay, I'll work on some more topics. If you have, please write it down on the chat once the session gets over. Mention your interest in past life regression with regards to certain case or an experience. You don't have to talk about your personal by telling about you. You can simply send a certain situation on my page and ask me question related to that, or maybe if there's anything that's unclear, like Pala said, cord cutting, I gave her how we can address it from a past life regression perspective. And yeah, anything else? All right, so I don't have any more questions coming, which means we can stop the session here. Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you all back on our Tuesday talks and make it more interesting. So see if you would like to invite more people, and I'll happy to see you more of you here with more questions and more exciting things to share. Good luck. Have a great week and see you soon.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Doctor.